You have entered a world of wit and weirdness, of humor and horror. This is Channel Ab3. Greetings, I'm Bruno III, the mastermind behind this podcast. I'd like to share that in addition to crafting bizarre and whimsical tales, I'm also involved in the world of real estate. Whether you're in the market to sell your home, find a new one, or explore real estate investment opportunities, don't hesitate to get in touch with me at Bruno3@kw.com. And now, without further ado, let's dive into today's episode.
My Love Is Vengance by Bruno III.
The old saying is, before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig 2 graves. But in the end, I only needed 1. I have no regrets for my years spent planning and executing my vengeance upon Creighton Tillingshaft Jr. It should never have come to this, and I like to think that if he had just paid for his crimes, I would have tried to move on, but that man did not take responsibility. There was no denying that my 13-year-old son was dragged beneath Creighton Tillingshaft Jr.'s car for 180 yards. There was no denying that Creighton Tillingshaft Jr. had fled the scene of the accident, leaving my boy to die by the side of the road like an animal. The authorities thought he was driving under the influence, but by the time they caught up to him, there was no way to prove it. The trial was a sham. The Tillingshaft fortune saw to that. His team of doctors and psychiatrists spoke of dissociative episodes and addictions. His lawyers questioned my parenting, scolding me for allowing my boy to be out delivering papers at 5 a.m. In the end, all my son's killer received was a hefty fine, community service, and 12 years probation. Was that all my boy was worth to them? It's a painful thing to outlive your offspring. My wife had died in childbirth, and the thought that my son would not attend my grave, as I attended his mother's, left me not entirely sane. I bought a gun, and I tried to decide if I wanted him dead or if I wanted to die myself. Eventually, my perspective changed. I became colder. I let my love for my son twist into a dream of vengeance. I vowed to never rest until I saw my boy's killer on his knees. Years were spent watching and planning. I came to know his life better than I had known my own. Finally, shortly after his 40th birthday, I began to move against Creighton Tillingshaft Jr. At first, all I did was let him know he was being watched by using the skills I'd spent years honing. His family heard footsteps echo through the house at night. They would investigate to find a door or window open. They started finding newspapers delivered to their front step, though they never subscribed and their mansion was behind walls and a gate. Those papers were not new, they were from the year my son died. He began to panic. He hired security guards that never found anything amiss and bought guard dogs that disappeared to be found dead weeks later. Once the Tillingshafts were good and rattled, I backed off. I waited a year. I could afford to. Then they found Creighton Tillingshaft Sr. dead. Everyone said it was a simple heart attack, but I was responsible. The old man wasn't even a week in the ground when I struck again. 17-year-old Creighton Tillingshaft III took a tumble down one of the crowded stairways of his college. His injuries left him a paraplegic. Months later, an opportunistic infection took care of the rest. That blow made my son's killer turn his back on the sobriety he had embraced 25 years ago. That drove his wife away, leaving him alone in that big mansion with just his servants. But I soon took care of them. For all their professed loyalty to the Tillingshaft family, a few well-planned accidents and some threats from the shadows was all it took to send them running. After that, I waited again, knowing that, eventually, despite his near-constant drunken stupor, my son's killer would realize what I had done. It was a cold February morning when he came to me. He screamed and cursed until he collapsed into a sobbing heap. Does hell await me as punishment for what I've done? I don't know. And I don't care. It was worth it to have the once great Creighton Tillingshaft Jr. fall to his knees on my long, untended grave.
It's intermission. Rise and stretch time. Time to refresh yourself and visit our snack bar. Got a yen for hot popcorn? Your favorite soft drinks are sparkling cold. The juicy Frank sizzling hot. There's delicious coffee, freshly brewed, and all kinds of ice cream and candy to tempt you. Showtime will be announced loud and clear to get you back to your car in time. So stretch your legs. Come to the snack bar now.
Foolproof by Bruno III.
By the time you read this, it will be too late, and I will be at peace. I am not the first person to find themselves tired of life. I will not be the first person to put an end to it all. Some people commit suicide via a handful of pills or a warm bath and cut wrists. That isn't for me. That's too gentle, too clean. It doesn't show enough content for the world that makes you. I'm going to cut my own throat. Left to right. Ear to ear. And I'm doing it in the morning. I would have liked there had been a sunrise for my final moments. But the forecasts are cloudy with a chance of rain. One more disappointment. The blade is in my hand. A well-used boning knife with serrated edges. I've been preparing for almost half a year, studying medical journals and tracing the path the knife must take. This isn't the thing you can practice easily, but I think I've developed a foolproof technique. One clean cut will sever both of my carotid arteries. Just so long as I don't lose the nerve or fumble the job. The last thing I want to do is survive and have to explain what I've done. I've decided to do it in my home while wearing my best suit. I'll be standing in front of a window with my favorite album playing, Abbey Road. I'll make the cut in the pause between the end and Her Majesty. A gravesite has already been purchased. A closed casket and a quiet burial has been requested. My specifics of my estate will be liquidated and dispersed to whatever charities might be interested. Don't think I've taken this path because of some kind of mental illness. This may be the sanest decision I've ever made. Life has its joys. But I think if you really keep track, the tragedies always outweigh the triumphs. We've all tried so hard in the end. What is it worth? Everything dies. Everything rots away. The evening news gets bleaker, and the nights grow longer. The old saying, better to have loved and lost, or if you don't succeed, try again, are cruel platitudes created by one generation to pass their misery on to the next. Some philosopher said it was better to have never been born, and I can't disagree with him. Better to never have been born at all, but in absence of that, better to die. If you're shaking your head at this, wishing you could have told me how wrong I was, you probably think life is sweet. You're probably wondering why I didn't reach out to my friends and family, to someone that might profess they care for me. But that would be impossible, because they're dead already. I had to practice my foolproof technique somehow.
My Love Is Vengance was written by Bruno III. It was read and produced by Aiko van Wingerden. Music was by Kevin MacLeod, Nicolas Gasparini, and Abysmii. Foolproof was written by Bruno III. It was read and produced by the wandering voice actor. Channel Ab3's unpaid scientific advisor is Adam J Thaxton. The Channel Ab3 theme was written and performed by Rachel F. Williams. The Channel Ab3 logo was designed by Antonio G. Are you enjoying the show? Then why not consider becoming a recurring subscriber or make a one-time donation? Are you in the market to sell your home, find a new home, or just explore real estate investment opportunities? Don't hesitate to get in touch with me. This is Channel Ab3, is distributed and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike 4.0 International License. We'll catch you later.